welcome to our pelvis play. So for this one, this is kind of the fun spot. So all I want you guys to do when you start this is put your hands on your hips. And I just want you guys to start shifting your weight side to side. Can you turn your right hip up, your left hip up, and really start to notice those hip bones. Maybe you bend those knees, and maybe you just kind of notice, okay, is one side tighter than the other? How is my pelvis doing? Maybe I've never really connected with it, and just kind of notice that. Then, after we've done that for a little bit, you're gonna start to go, I call it, pretend your pelvis is a bowl, and it's holding water. So our hands are on the hips. So just kind of taking notice where your bowl is at right now. Now, I want you guys to tip your pelvis or your bowl, and I want you guys to pretend you're pouring water out of the front of your bowl. So that might mean your hips come up in the back, your booty starts to get a little bit higher, and your pelvis is going forward. So you're dropping the water out of the bowl. From here, I want you guys to come back to that neutral position. So hopefully this is where we're at in a daily basis. A lot of times it isn't. So just kind of noticing, okay, this is neutral. And then I want you guys to tuck the other way. So tuck the bum under. So now our booties are tucked under. We're starting to get more of a stretch in our hip flexors. And then I want us to roll back to center. So just kind of playing with this, going back, center, tuck it under. So these are kind of the three different directions our pelvis can move. And for some of us, we might be able to more freely move into one than the other. And so for me, like this one, I've had to work at to get a little bit more flexibility there. And I'm not saying that you should have more flexibility in one than the other. You just generally do, based on how we stand. So a lot of us females, I used to, this is how I stood. Like I just pop out that right hip, left knee's bent, toes turned out. And so with this, you start to develop some issues. So when I have people kind of work on this when they're standing, is let's stand, let's ground down at the grocery store, at the gym while you're waiting for a piece of equipment, or whatever you're doing, even at home as you're just like on your phone. Are we doing this? What are we doing? What are we looking like? Or are we standing, we're even. My pelvis is in neutral, my knees are slightly bent, I'm grounded to the floor, my chest is up and back. And those are just little different ways to look at things and playing with our pelvis. And so that's why I gave you this exercise in the down dog, noticing where that pelvis is. Because if we start to really notice where we're at, when we start to do different exercises, we can start to notice, oh, maybe that's where that low back pain is coming from. That's why that hip pinches all the time, is because I'm standing or I'm doing stuff like this. Most likely this is more of your day, or sitting at a desk, and that is more of your day, and maybe you're sitting like cross-legged, sitting at your desk typing, one leg across. However you're sitting, those are the little movements that actually are gonna make pain more prevalent in your life. So sometimes we think, oh, I must have done something at the gym, when it might not have been the workout. It could be just the way that you're standing, the way that you're kind of situated, the majority of your life. Now all of a sudden that pain is starting to come up, and maybe that move at the gym, exaggerated or exacerbated, the word I'm looking for, made that pain worse. So that is something to play with. Now the next exercise for the pelvis, if you guys have a foam roller or a bolster, that would be your chance to grab that. So for this one, all we're gonna do is we're gonna just take a seat on it. So we might be straddling it, and we're just gonna kind of just notice again, connecting with our pelvis, maybe shifting, this time front to back. So I'm gonna bring one knee forward and then the other. And I'm just kind of going back and forth. Sometimes this is easier, I don't have a chair, but if I had, or a little couch or a stool, if I put that on top of that and did this, sometimes it's a little bit easier, because if you're tall like me, your knees they get really high up there. But just kind of moving side to side and just shifting back and forth in this direction. And this isolates one side versus the other. And so that's another little pelvis play that sometimes is easier. Like I can already feel my right hip not really happy with that move. And it is because my right hip is my weaker hip. So you might notice, oh yeah, one side definitely felt it, or the other one doesn't feel anything. So noticing how that situates in your body, that will really go a long way to noticing maybe what little things that we need to do to help heal our body. And that is just one of the ways I'm super passionate about, working with the pelvis and paying attention to what we're doing from my own experience with it. So go ahead and try some of those out. Let me know how it goes. And again, this is free play. This is like 5 minutes of fun. So you decide what you want to do. Maybe you want to do some dancing, whatever you want to do to work that pelvis. You guys go ahead and do that now.